Welcome to the smartest vlog you'll ever see. 2.5 brains. We're talking all about the latest episode of Survivor Season 38, Episode 10. And what an episode it was. 2 players, 1 home. A 1 hour double boot. Not my favorite type of format, but boy, did a lot happen. We're going to talk all about it. And be sure to follow along with us. We have our Amazing Race stuff as well going on. So it's a whole lot of craziness right now, and we're loving every minute of it. So be sure to subscribe. Don't miss anything. Don't miss any of our content. Share the content. Share it with your friends. Tell everybody. Subscribe, like I said. Comment away. Let us know what your thoughts are. Feel free to email the show, pavement@gmail.com, and like us on Facebook, Pavement Productions on Facebook, and tweet me directly at YoGrabbaGabba on Twitter. So as we started here, I'm excited for it. Go Seas. Another big win coming up for them. And let's bring in my co-host, the lovely partner here. She's the only reason you guys watch. So let's bring her in. I'll shut up so she can get in here. Come on in, Jessica.
You never shut up, so that's impossible.
Wow.
Go buttered lamb, I think.
Go buttered lamb.
The Easter.
Go butter some lamb. All right. So, Jessica.
Yes.
How are you?
I am fantastic.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. What's your Twitter handle?
JessT820.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this was a crazy episode.
Yeah.
We're going to talk all about it.
Yeah.
And we're going to start off, as we always do, with the 3 big moments. But in this case, it's 4 because it was a double episode. So double stuff in there. Going to have a little fun with this and talk all about it. So, Jessica, please tell me, what was big moment number 1?
Since you asked so nicely, I guess. The first is returnees are the target.
Returnees are the target. Has been since episode 1 of the season. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they, again, the 4 of them are gone now.
I mean, who would have thought they'd make it this far? The way they all pushed very hard to get rid of them early on. Talked about it a lot early on.
And War Dog said it, right? He said, every season, the returning players go to the end. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't.
But who wants to risk that?
Right. And, it's with everybody gunning for them, the odds that were not in their favor, and them getting in the end, they had a good shot to win.
You know, this was the Hunger Games.
Right. Well, regardless.
I mean, it is the Hungry Games.
They are pretty hungry.
Okay.
White Rice Wednesday, hashtag. Hashtag White Rice Wednesday. So yeah, I mean, they were the targets from day one, and it's surprising that the returning players are all out before the final 8.
I'm not that surprised. I predicted Wentworth being out a lot before whenever we would watch a show and I'd talk about it, but I kind of thought David would have been on there longer. Just did not make the alliances he needed with everybody else.
Yeah, I agree. I just the thing I was surprised about was just that they all are gone. I thought 1 or 2 would linger around, get close to the end, if not get all the way to the end. But and again, who knows? Somebody could come back in, and odds are it's probably gonna be a returning player. But possibly, maybe not. Either way, it's interesting. I'm excited to see what happens next. But any other thoughts on that before we move on?
No.
All right, what's big moment number 2?
Survivor pairs.
Survivor pairs, yeah.
We've got a couple that's broken up now.
So yeah,
they're a long distance relationship.
Right, exactly. So, it's definitely interesting for me to see that there's these pairs of different.
I mean, who would you consider a pair now? I mean, now that Kelly is gone, do you think War Dog and Lauren are going to be a pair? Because I don't think Lauren's going to want to trust him now.
No.
She was left out of it.
Right.
I mean, Ron and Julie definitely are not a pair anymore. Not after this last vote. She's just going to freak out.
And it was, going into it, right? It was David and Devins.
Julie and Ron.
Lauren and Kelly.
Yeah, I guess.
And then it was Gavin and Victoria. And now, now it's the episode has been all about the pairs and which pair is going to win. And so the question now is, are there new pairs? Are there going to be new people pairing up? Is going to be, I mean, Julie and Victoria don't like each other, or Julie and Aurora don't like each other, so...
Yeah, but they might, well...
Who knows?
Who knows?
Wow, that was nice. In stereo.
Echo in here?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. We might get that fixed.
Yeah, so... and again, I felt like Victoria and Gavin were close, but now... one was left out of the one vote, the other was left out of the other vote, so...
Oh my gosh, but Gavin was getting in that whole 6. Victoria wasn't a part of that.
Right.
So were they really that close? Nah, I don't think so.
I don't know.
really think they were that close. I think they just worked together for the other votes.
I think Julia held them together, and once Julia was gone, they splintered.
It's all split, yeah.
So, I don't know. Survivor Pairs has been a thing, but I think part of my thing what I was talking about with this thing, too, was also... I've thought of a season which would be neat, of like almost 2 simultaneous seasons running together where they're passing information back and forth. Where like, which is kind of like what's going on. That was kind of the whole point of this thing was, this topic or this moment I guess was the idea of a Survivor Pairs where it's like season A. And actually, I think I recently listened to an interview with Dr. Sean Caniff from season 1. And he talked about this. He pitched this idea actually to Survivor, was doing 2 simultaneous seasons at the same time, and like then kind of merging them together or kind of seeing how it shakes out. And the idea of you got Age of Extinction Island, where there's almost a whole season going on there, and then you have the players in the actual game, and they're kind of aligned, right? So it's like like
the people on the edge are assisting the people in the other game.
Right.
Vice versa, I
right.
guess.
And vice versa in a way, yeah. So Aubrey is close with whomever, so she wins the advantage and send it to that person in the game.
Yeah.
And then the person in that game can win a reward and send it to somebody on Edge of Extinction. And it's kind of like I was thinking of a way to kind of add some new twists or new elements to the game, and that kind of seems like a neat thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I don't know how it would exactly work, because I mean, you're giving someone an advantage to win individual immunity on the one side, but then what does the other person get back in return? Do they get an immunity idol that they could play? Then there would just be a lot of idols flying around and stuff like that. Or do they get an advantage for whatever, competition or game that they have to go through,
Yeah.
But I could see it. There's something that could be done with that. But this is kind of doing it now, too.
Yeah, it'd have to be fleshed out a little bit, I think, too, right? I mean, it wouldn't be just the same. It would have to be figure out a little bit more how it would work, but they did blood versus water type of thing, right? And they did that a couple times. I think this would be a cool way to do that. Somehow Survivor Pairs, where you got two people who know each other, and they're both playing the game simultaneously, and you get voted out. The person your pair maybe doesn't even know, and they're hoping that you send them an advantage in the game, but they're already gone.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool to kind of see how it would play out. And this is kind of a little bit of a taste of that. I think it's neat. I think it'd be something really really fun to experiment with more long term. If you want to do a 20-player season, do two post merge seasons, 2 10 and 10 seasons, and you can even do a vote. Alternating. Each week, one team votes, one other show votes. It's like the separate worlds type of thing. With I don't know if you ever saw that show, but it was like one team lives in the past, one team lives in the future.
Tale of Two Cities.
It was kind of like that. It was a competition.
Is it like the Lake House?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Sandra Bullock movie.
Oh yeah.
This guy's living in like a different year.
Yeah.
Sending stuff through the mailbox.
Right. Yeah, with Keanu Reeves, right?
Yeah.
Is that Keanu Reeves? Yeah.
Kind of like that.
In a way, I mean, I don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole, but
through the black hole that they found.
Right.
Got a picture of. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
talking about experimenting, I'm just trying to figure out something.
The show of separate worlds, though, right? I mean, they had the person living, or one team surviving in the wilderness outside, another one living in the lap of luxury, and they have to kind of communicate a little bit, or kind of play challenges and and it was like basically it was Big Brother meets Survivor, and they're basically competing against each other. It was interesting. It was weird. It only lasted I think one season.
Yeah.
But it's the idea of it is kind of cool. I'd like to see it maybe done more with it. But I don't know. I think it'd be neat. They did the one world type of thing. They did some other experiments with that kind of stuff, and I think it'd be kind of cool to see. And heck, Survivor has plenty of things they've tried. Some have worked, some haven't, and I think it'd be a neat thing to look into. But moving on, just something I want to throw out there.
For a very long time.
I'm long-winded. What can I say?
I know. Next.
Big moment number 3.
Who returns next?
Yeah, and when?
Or when? Who returns when?
Yeah, who returns and when? Yeah, I mean, so that's going to determine the game. It really could. I mean...
Well, I mean, how far in are they going to get before they have another person return?
I want to say the finale, which sucks.
Well, like the final 6?
Final 5, final 6. That sucks, because at that point, the alliances could already be established. And
but then you have to have a whole other competition just to see who is going to be the final 6 then.
Right, and that's my point. I think it could get down to the final 4, and then they bring somebody back in to be the final 5. I hope they don't do that because
I don't think they'll let it get that long into it though.
Well, that's how they did on Blood vs. Water and on the Redemption Island seasons. They brought the person back at the finale, which was the final 4, but the one person came back to make it the final 4 back to a final 5. But in all those cases, the final 3 was already set. Everybody already knew who was going to be in the final 3. So it's like the person comes back, then there's cannon fodder. So they don't have any chance. So the only way that would really work is if they bring somebody back early enough for them to make a difference, or it's somebody who is, the person who happens to come back is a person who is, partially aligned with that one, partially aligned with this one, and it may, if David comes back and it's Devins and War Dog and Ron and whomever else, now they're all like, okay, now they're all competing for Devin's love, and it's or David's all competing for their love, so
right.
It's gonna be interesting when they do it. I hope they don't wait too long, because they have had that problem of waiting too long to bring people back, and then it's too late to influence the season. But also you don't want to do it too early, because now you're like, now the whole point of it is kind of shot. So I think the sweet spot's between 7 and 6 in that area. So maybe one more week of Edge of Extinction, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I don't know. I guess I agree. Just because someone comes back, I don't think they really have that good of a shot of winning at that point. Like, it's kind of pointless to even bring them back, because they'll probably get kicked off, relatively soon after that.
Right. I mean, if you look at the second Redemption Island season, which was South Pacific, they had it was the 3 with Coach, Sophie, and Albert, and then they brought Ozzy back in the game. Ozzy won his way back in the game, and Ozzy won an immunity challenge. So they had to get rid of, I think it was Rick, Rancher Rick, and then they got down to the final 4, and Ozzy had all his friends on the jury, so he wins the game. And the immunity wins the game. But that was only reason he had to basically win his way at the end to have a shot, and he lost to Sophie, and the rest is history. So they voted him out at 4, and then that's it. But I think it would be it's gonna depend on who comes back that can shake things up,
right,
and when.
Right.
So what's next?
Jury of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't it seem that way though?
Oh, well, it's got to be. He keeps saying, welcome the jury, and it's everybody there, so how can you just already be like, all right, well, you guys were kicked off first, so you're not going to be in the jury anymore?
I mean, Reem was the first boot, and she's on the friggin' jury.
Honestly, though, it kind of works out in some people's favor, because whoever got kicked out early on that has good alliances with anybody that's still there, they're going to want to vote for who is still there that they've made, a connection with. Absolutely. And I mean, if anybody decides to leave, then that gets rid of people. But I mean, we got rid of 2, Wendy and Keith left, so that's down 2. But yeah, I think everybody's going to be on the jury.
It's going to be crazy. I mean, it's going to be a final 3 with a 13-person jury. Holy hell.
It's going to be a long episode. Yeah,
well, it always is, but it's going to be certainly even longer.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see that. If somebody from the original, what was it? Not Kama, the other one.
Not Lesu, Loser Tribe.
Right, the one, the original.
I don't know.
Whatever that one was.
Yeah.
Purple.
The other one that was losing a lot.
The Purple People Eaters.
Okay.
Yes. So if you think about it, somebody from that group, if they get voted out, or say they go in, right? It's Lauren, it's War Dog, it's whomever.
Yeah.
Who's Reem going to vote for? Probably. I mean, is she be mad at the person who spurned her, and voted out first, or is she vote for somebody she never met before in her life?
I would see the second one.
Wow. So somebody Reem's never met before she could decide to cast this. She could cast a deciding vote between two people she's never met before in her life against the person who voted her out.
Yeah, I could see her holding a grudge about it.
Oh, she will.
But I mean, they get to see these tribals, and especially the one tribal that was blown up. You get to see people and how they are during that, so she could take that into an account.
For sure, and we'll see how that goes. But I can't believe that they're gonna have a final 3 with a jury of 13.
Yeah.
That is bananas.
Unless people are competing to stay on the jury.
Well,
they have the next vote. Or
true.
The next one, returning players, like the people who finished in whatever order, you get to stay on the jury.
That's a good point, too. The winner gets back in, then the next 2 through 8, number 1, whoever finishes first is back in, and 2 through 8 of the jury, everybody else is gone.
Yep.
That could happen. They could also, they're not going to have time for this, but I liked it, and a lot of people hated it, twist, but in 32...
Another fire competition.
No, that sucks. 32, they had a final 3, where it was day 38, so they had one more day, so they had to do something. So instead of making a final 2, they had an immunity challenge, but it wasn't even an immunity challenge, it was a reward challenge. The winner of the reward challenge would vote out a member of the jury. So they could maybe do something like that, where like you do a final challenge at the end, where whoever wins that gets to seat the jury. Or something.
That would be interesting.
They
would get rid of Reem.
Probably. Depends on who wins, though, right? I mean, that was how that season went. Right? It was Aubrey's first season. Michelle, Aubrey, and Ty are there, and Michelle wins immunity and gets to decide she takes out Aubrey's number 1 fan on the jury.
Well, right, yeah.
And that's what you would do. A huge reason Aubrey lost.
Yeah.
So it was a cool twist. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people were Aubrey fans. I was also an Aubrey fan, but. At the end of the day, it was a cool thing they did. It just happened that they had lost half the cast to injury, so they had to do something, and that was what they did. But I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that again too. So we'll see how it turns out. But a jury of 13 with a final 3, or God forbid, a jury of 14 with a final 2, a 7-7 tie with nobody to break the tie because it's the freaking final. Oh Lord, oh boy, that would be just I would lose my ever-loving mind if I had one left.
You got half a brain, so...
you got half, you got 2, so I might have to borrow one of yours. So let's go ahead and finish up here, and let's move on from the big moments to the more specific to this episode moments, with the 4 key moments, starting with moment number 1.
Lesu implosion.
Yeah, so... Remember last episode, last week on the show, this very program, we were talking about how, look, we got voted out. It's been nobody from Lesu, everybody else.
Yeah, well, you knew that was going to happen soon. I mean, finally, everybody's bringing to attention, like, those 3 cannot go to the end together. I mean, they kept talking, Lesu kept talking about the final 6 and telling them, well, you guys can't all go together. What are you going to do at the end? What the flip do you guys think you're going to do at the end? Like, it's the same thing.
Oh, it's all manipulation, right?
I know,
that's all it is.
But some people are better at it than others.
Absolutely, and some people are better at the game than others. And the Lesu members, I think, are solid players. I mean, they are.
I mean, War Dog can't win any challenges or anything.
But
he's got social game.
And he's manipulating. He's definitely strategic as hell. So
War Dog does what War Dog needs.
Yes, good for him. I don't know. I mean, David Wentworth are legends. I mean, they're good players. Lauren has a shot to win. She's still in the game. Took a hit today. Took a hit this week for sure. War Dog's been playing well, and Devins has been a good player too. So I mean, those are some solid players there. And one of them still could end up winning.
How crazy would it be if someone from that tribe ended up winning this season? I mean, they couldn't win a damn thing all season. I know. Now they can win individually, but forget working together. They could not work together at all.
But sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you gotta find a different way to the end. I mean, I don't like the idea that Devins got voted out and could win the game. I think it's a twist that really helps him. But I don't know. It is what it is.
People are better off playing with themselves.
Moving on to key moment number 2.
Alliance strong from the edge of extinction.
Yes.
David and Devons, they can be separated from islands and they still are connected. It's a really strong bond.
For sure. And it's kind of what I was talking about before, right? With the whole, like, I'm doing work on this.
I was going to say it, but I knew he had it. Yeah, you're working with somebody from a different island to help them win the game. And that helped them win individual immunity.
It did, and it was huge, and that's a big challenge. That's a big advantage.
Yeah.
Only having to land the 4 instead of the 5.
Land what?
The balls, honey. The balls.
The balls and the crevices.
The balls in the dimples.
Dimples.
Put the balls in the dimples.
Or crevices.
Whatever floats your boat.
Okay.
Or your dinghy.
Or your goat.
Or your dingling.
Hi, dingling.
So, that was what happened on this episode. That was neat.
I partially thought, like, David should have helped someone else, I guess, to kind of win his case, but if he doesn't come back, it doesn't really matter. It just kind of, I feel like it puts a target on Devin still, that he's a strong player if David can still protect him from being in another island.
I mean, if I'm anybody on that challenge and Edge of Extinction, the next person I want to see voted out is War Dog. Why?
Yeah, because
he's not going to win a dang challenge to get back in the game. He hasn't won a challenge yet.
He can't. Sorry, War Dog.
I mean,
thank you for your service.
Yeah.
But you're not good at these challenges.
For sure. So, we'll see. But that's the thought right now. Anything else to say, Jessica? Or are you just gonna...
Nothing else to say about that one.
Okay, so what's the key moment number Trace?
Curse of the returning player, because we all knew from the beginning that was happening. I mean, the conversations constantly of, you can't let them, don't listen to them. They've been on this game before. It's our time. We need to make our spotlight. And David and Kelly went out in the exact same episode, which was, I guess, interesting. Went from one returning to the next. Now they're all gone.
Yeah, and I said I don't like the idea that a returning player who got voted out comes back in. That was my biggest thing with Pearl Islands. First time they brought a returning player back, in essence, was Pearl Islands with the Outcast twist, and Burton gets voted out a second time. Mm-hmm. Lil gets voted out. She comes back in the game. It goes to the final 2.
Yeah.
I was like, this Lil shouldn't win. You get voted out. You come back in the game through some weird twist. You shouldn't win the game.
I mean, there are so many people on Extinction Island, though. It's not, it's not a guarantee that a returning player is going to come back, because Wentworth, she wasn't very good in the individual immunity challenges for this season. I mean, I never saw her other ones, but for this one, she couldn't really do it. And Aubrey could. I mean, Joe's great at it, but you know what? There are some other strong players out there. Chris is very strong on that island. They could be
Julia,
coming
Eric.
back. Yeah, Eric, Julia. Yeah, Julia. It's not necessarily going to be a returning player. I don't mind returning players, but I really don't want a season of mix, because then that's what happens. They're all targeted. They're not going to have a chance, so why would you want to go in a mixed season?
Yeah.
It has to be all returning players, because everybody knows they've all played the game before.
And I've said before, I love the returning player seasons because it's usually a higher level of gameplay. They've played the game, they know kind of, in essence, if they are actually all-stars, they're better at the game.
Yeah.
But
the focus was on, they're all returnees. They weren't voted out because of anything else but that point.
For sure.
That's the only reason.
Absolutely, and I agree with you completely, because I mean it's one of those things where if they were, if this was all first time players, those guys had a great shot,
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, and they stand out, and it's unfortunate.
Right.
You gotta get rid of them because they're returning players, and you don't like seeing that. I mean, you don't like somebody being targeted from that's really out of their control.
Right. So I kind of skipped one to go to that one, but we have our final
What's
4.
number 4?
Whose alliance is it anyways?
Whose alliance is it anyways?
I don't know. With
Everything points don't matter. So pull on a page out of the Drew Carey book. By the way, fun fact for you.
What's that? Little FF?
Yeah, little FF.
Okay.
Drew Carey
Love Survivor.
was on a Survivor reunion show.
That's
It was a dumb segment. It was a huge waste of time.
Okay, and
But they talked about they did a Price is Right Reality TV Stars Edition.
That's cool.
So they had like a bunch of Survivor players there, and they, some of them got to go into contestants row, and next someone got to play the games, and it was neat.
Drew Carey's cool. OH.
Yeah, IO.
Ohio.
Right. So, wow, this went way off the rails. So Jessica must be getting hungry or tired. But anyways,
what's that supposed to mean?
nothing at all. So whose alliance is it anyway? What does that even mean?
Well, like we were talking about before, the pairs are no longer pairs. Ron decided to change his vote to vote out Kelly and then leave Julie behind, and now Julie's ticked off. Gavin didn't know about it, and Lauren didn't know anything about it. So, I mean, she turns around to look at War Dog after the whole thing happened. So they're all, left in the dark. So the people that weren't involved aren't going to be happy, and, everybody's kind of intermingling, which on past seasons that I've watched, I haven't watched many, but I don't remember this many people changing up their alliances every episode. Like,
Absolutely.
people just keep going like, well, we'll work together this episode, and then this episode it's like, no, we're gonna work together. The only two that have been constant was always Devins and David, except for the one episode where Devins kind of went a little crazy.
Yeah.
But besides that, they're the only constant people.
Yeah, and the one thing I was talking about too about the separate worlds thing too, it might be kind of hard for the fans to follow what's going on.
Right.
And same thing with like now, I'm glad they're doing that actually when they're putting the extra vote or one idol or whatever on the screen with next to the person's name.
Yeah.
But it's I wonder how people who don't do a video podcast or a vlog or whatever who just watch the show and then turn it off at the end and don't think about it again. I wonder how they are reacting to the constant swaps. Or not swapping, but constant flipping.
I mean, speaking of what you just mentioned with the extra votes and stuff like that, how interesting was that Aurora gave her extra vote to Ron to try and build, a bond. So who the heck knows what's going to happen this next episode with that? Maybe people are going to start saving her. Maybe Ron's going to pull her in and leave Julie behind because she kind of is flies off the handle too, but Aurora isn't as much of a threat,
Great point. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about that, but that's a very good point. I don't know. It's really something.
Who knows who's going to work with who? We'll find out next episode.
Right, we'll find out, and maybe it'll last for just that episode, but...
kind of how it's been, yeah.
I like it, though. I like that. I don't like, the thing I hate is the reason I didn't like Ghost Island was the frog march. Everybody's getting in line, getting cut off one by one, and it's like, all right, who's going to win? Diamond Window. It's going to be Diamond Window, which one?
Well, yeah, this kind of cuts the predictability out a lot because the last tribals I couldn't predict. I didn't even try to even fathom who was going to go out. I didn't think Kelly was going out. I wasn't sure, though.
Did right before that, and I have a person who can verify that I did text that I predicted what was going to go out. I can verify that.
You just special.
No, I'm not. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think it's going to be... That's a big reason why I like David versus Goliath, right? Because I had, you got to the final 6 in the finale episode, and there were legitimately 3 people who could win it, right? I mean, it was matter who's going to get to the end, but, it was going to be Nick, it was going to be Allison, or it was going to be Mike,
right?
Who pulled it out. And this season, I feel like, depending on who's there at the end, there's a handful of people who could potentially still win it.
Yeah, just not our winner picks.
Oh, unless they get back in, but right. And our winner picks are wrong, shocker. But I think there's still, like I said, I still think Devins has a shot. I mean, I'm not gonna do my penultimate episode where I rank who's gonna finish where or whatever. But I think Devins has a shot. I think War Dog definitely has a shot. I think Ron has a shot. Julie possibly, she kind of went a little nuts, but if she can reel it back in, maybe. Lauren still possibly. So there's still a few people with a shot. And then again, whoever comes back too. So
yeah, it's true.
But any other thoughts on that?
No, I just think it'd be interesting if Ron or War Dog won out of those that you mentioned, but anybody could at this point.
I would, yeah, for sure. And what I would say too is if I'm Julie, or Aurora, or Gavin, or Victoria, I hope they understand that Ron and War Dog are 2 people, and if the other ones who don't like each other can somehow work together, they'll take control of the game, and they'll take control of the game until the end.
Right.
It probably won't happen because those guys aren't even on the show.
I mean, who's the bigger threat at this point? Probably War Dog out of anybody. And,
For sure.
he controlled the game for a while and then he got back into it now. You got to realize that that's what you got to do. It's like Carl last season.
Yeah.
They got rid of the Godfather.
Right. And I think Ron is a close second to the biggest threat, but I think right now, if you ask me who's the biggest threat, and you ask me pick a winner right now of this current group, it's War Dog.
Damn.
I know. I mean, what is that coming, right?
Damn. No.
He's Tony Vlachos. He is, and I hate to say that because Tony is one of the all-time greatest, but War Dog's playing a very similar game. Tony was on the Braun tribe and didn't win a damn individual challenge the whole season.
But his tribes didn't even win. Like, they won one.
Yeah, sure. Well,
that's where I'm having a hard time with it.
And it's true. Tony's tribes they dominated pre-merge.
Yeah, so that's where I'm having a difficult time.
But they kind of look similar, they act similar, and they have the same type of game. War Dog is in his all over the place. Tony was, a little more, scattered. But it's tough to say. And the thing is, right? I said it. Tony comes back and they target him right away. It was like for years people were saying, "Oh, we gotta get rid of that Boston Rob type." Then it was, "We gotta get rid of that Russell Hantz type." That's like, "We gotta get rid of that Tony Vlachos type." And guess what?
And they gotta get rid of that War Dog type.
Tony Vlachos type is the people are like anytime it was the Dominic Mates. He got to the final. He got to the end. War Dog, he's doing well. So what happened to that? Let's get rid of the Tony Vlachos type. Now, I mean, it's like now we gotta get rid of the Cochran types. We gotta get rid of the Christian from last season. Those types of players.
Yeah.
That you're trying to get rid of. But it's still that Tony Vlachos type is still the archetype who's got a good shot to win. So you gotta get that guy out. And
we'll see what they
do. But I think he's gotta be persona non grata. You gotta get rid of him next. You've got to. If any of them want a shot, he's gotta go next.
Right.
That's my little rant.
Moving on
to the bottom three. Who are the bottom three after all the dust settled this week? After these two crazy episodes, two crazy votes, who's left at the bottom?
Aurora.
She's
still on the show, but who knows? I mean, she's there. She hasn't got voted off yet. Yeah, she still hasn't got voted off. Okay. Even though that she's been the target for a long time.
Yeah.
She's the easy vote that everybody keeps pushing back because they want to do the other votes, which I think have been the smarter votes.
For sure. I mean, you can get her at any time, and thank you players for making it a more exciting season, because you could have voted out Aurora, and then you could have voted Victoria, and then Gavin, and whatever. So at least you vote out the players who are threats. We'll see.
Playing it the right way.
For sure. And you take her to the end. Eventually, Julie said we gotta get rid of the GOAT because she's gonna get to the end and take somebody's spot at the end. But I think it's at this point get rid of whoever can win the game, and then you kind of can go. Yeah, you can get rid of the GOATs at the final four, final five.
Right. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Aurora?
No.
She did win her second immunity, so she's 0-2.
She is strong in immunity challenges. She does kind of bring it up every time there's an immunity challenge, though. Like, I was left out. I'm not going to be here any longer if I don't win this. It's like, yeah, but anybody could be gone because they don't win it. Like, it's not just you. Everybody.
And right, who was like that last season? Angelina. She's like,
I need this. Yeah, I got you guys rice, right?
Right. It's like, okay.
I did a selfless act and got you rice, then why are you talking about it?
I did a selfless act.
Not a selfless act.
I'm going to brag about it the rest of the season.
I should get credit for my selfless act.
Right.
Even though that's not what that means.
Right. And and it's just not quite that bad at Aurora's doing, but at the same time she's like, they're gonna vote me out. And Angela's like, I gotta play this idol. Cause I found an idol, I'm gonna play it because I'm gonna get voted out. Like, nobody's voting you out. They're picking you at the end to beat you. Because you suck. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of how it is with Aurora. I feel like she's like, they're gonna vote me out if I don't win this meeting. No, they're not. Because you suck. You have no chance.
Moving on. Victoria,
whatever her last name is, I don't remember how to say it. I don't know. Bamamanudi.
I don't remember it.
I don't remember. But, I remember what it is, but I don't remember how to pronounce it. Vic. Why is Vic here?
Well, she's not really in any good alliances right now. I don't know. She's not really on the show, as you keep saying. She's not doing anything strong. She's following the crowd, and now it's getting towards the end, so she's going to have to try and do something. Like poking it with a stick, do something.
I've heard that people hate her hat. And I am in that camp 100%, okay?
I don't even care. It's whatever.
The one thing I will say is at least she has a unique look.
It's a hipster hat. She looks more hipster with it on.
Yeah, and
I
she's
can
in
see
freaking
that's her
120-degree Fiji in a freaking winter hat. Okay, cool.
I mean, it's cold at night, I'm sure.
Ugh.
What?
Sure. It's because you're out. You're outdoors.
I mean, when it's raining and stuff, like you'd be freezing. She was smart and brought something warm.
Okay, she's got a unique look. Good for her.
The ears.
Wonderful. I don't know. I just she's had a couple like who she reminds me of a lot is from season 36 is Angela. Angela was Chris's number one person. Mm-hmm. Chris gets voted out. Angela has an episode where she's just like run the show. She crushes the immunity challenge. She's a beast, and then we never hear from her again.
Yeah, she's eating the disgusting stuff.
The sea slug and the sea slug slugger. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I feel like Victoria was kind of like that. She was Eric's, she was close with Eric and and Julia, and then they got voted out, or Eric got voted out, and Victoria kind of had a big episode, and then Julia gets voted out, and she's back to irrelevance.
Yeah, I mean she is. They're just kind of using her for the numbers. She's not really doing anything strong. She's not putting herself out there and trying to work anything herself. She's still she's in the mode that you say you just agree with everybody, but it's getting kind of late into the game to be doing that. It's
getting late early for her, for sure. Mm-hmm. And anything else on Victoria?
No.
So let's talk about the last one in the bottom three. Who is that?
Lauren.
Yeah, this one...
I mean, why? Because she was left out of the vote. She wasn't... But she was Kelly's alliance. You can't let her know what you're going to do. Then you're going to tell Lauren or Kelly, and Kelly's going to play her idol, and then it's, changes the game. But...
She still is an idol.
She does. She's not winning immunity.
No. I think if... It's one of those things, too. If like you said with David and Devins, if Kelly finds something, she probably says something to Lauren. Maybe that helps.
Yeah. But she's competing against a lot of people and how to find anything on the island. David's smart. He figured out the puzzle really quick and knew, found it.
Yeah. I feel like Lauren still has a shot, but it's her chances are doing like here's I don't want to go into any spoiler or anything like that. On Twitter, Wentworth tweeted a picture of her in which I hate when they do that. Mm-hmm. She tweeted a picture of her and Lauren and like said, "This girl's my bestie," whatever, blah blah. Right? Cool. Kind of tells us a little bit about what happens, which is annoying. We know you don't turn on each other because you're friends after the game.
Right.
But
I mean, Kelly's already out, so it doesn't,
But this was before. This was last week.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so, sorry, I should have put that in there.
Yeah.
Should have put the time frame on there.
Yeah, should have.
But Wentworth had just done it before on her second season when there was that final six and there was a 0-0 vote because the idols canceled everything out. She was like on like the Survivor Facebook page saying like, what do you think's going to happen next week, guys? And, well, we know it's involving you because why do you care?
Right.
And there's only so many things that could be unique that could happen. So she said things without actually saying them, but you could read between the lines and figure out what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I actually thought that Lauren was going to go to the end and lose to Kelly, or somehow, she was going to sacrifice herself somehow and Kelly was going to take advantage. I didn't expect it to go that Lauren outlasted Kelly. Just because I wouldn't see Kelly tweeting something about how she loves Lauren if Lauren went further.
Lauren didn't vote her out. So
correct.
That's part of it.
That's definitely part of it, for sure. I just didn't see Wentworth drawing attention to the fact that Lauren goes further than her. It doesn't seem like her personality.
She made a good friendship with her. That's
good. I just
girls that get along. Who knew?
It's another Survivor first. But yeah, I don't know. That was just a little bit of a side note there, but I was surprised. And Lauren, like I said, they've been talking about her as a triple threat. Strategic, social, and physical. The physical has been kind of not too much there. Socially, she's decent. And we don't really haven't seen much strategically. So I don't know. I want to say she's gonna be okay and do good. I want to say she got a good shot to win this thing still.
I'd kind of counter that, though. I don't think Social's been all that great.
Outside her alliance.
Yeah, exactly. It's her alliance. Social game, you have to talk to other people, and she definitely has not been. Now she's going to have to, and I think she will.
I think, yeah. I just say, I mean, if you ask me right now, gun in my head, who's going to go out next? I would say Lauren. If you want to say who, that's why she's in the bottom three.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I think if it said who's everybody left in the game, who's got the best shot to win, War Dog. Who's got the best shot to go home,
Yeah, unless people smarten up and go after War Dog.
If they smart enough. I'd love to see it. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'd love to see it.
Alright. Moving on.
Moving on to the top
Long
three.
windedness.
That's me. I'm a bag of hot air. Hot Italian air.
Yeah, you're doing. Devins.
Devins is top player number 3. Why?
Because David gave him the advantage that got him individual immunity. Go team.
Yep. Devins, he's still there. He no longer has an idol, but he was definitely in on the Wentworth vote. I could see, if you ask me, I could see Ron, War Dog, and Devins sticking together for a while. I don't think War Dog will go to the end with Devins. I don't really think he wants to go to the end with Ron either.
Yeah.
But for right now, those 3 are kind of the kingmakers right now. They can kind of make decisions.
I mean, since Devin's initial blow up, he's gotten a lot better. Everything's gotten better, and I think now he's going to have an easier time kind of talking to people and making alliances himself, like getting votes together. But who knows? I'm sure he's just happy enough that War Dog approached him about Kelly to vote her out, so it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, the edit's been interesting this season. There's been, seasons past, like I said, last season I didn't really think Nick was winning until he got down to the final 4.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's his first episode. He talked about his family and overcoming the drug epidemic and that kind of stuff, and that was something that he got some airtime. But he didn't really have a winner's edit last season, which I like because the winner's edit is really annoying because it's right on the nose. You know who's winning. This War Dog, it hasn't really had that. Devins really hasn't had that, but. Right now, War Dog is definitely out front. He's definitely getting the airtime. He's definitely a big character. Doesn't mean he's winning. I don't know, but Devins is in the mix.
Yeah. No shocking. The next one, Ronald, Clark, Griswold,
Weasley, Howard. Ronald, Howard, Clark, Weasley, Griswold.
Okay.
Awesome. The Ronald, Clark, Griswold, Weasley Academy.
It's like Hogwarts Academy.
Speaking of Hogwarts, I saw a thing today. Did you see the tweet from J.K. Rowling?
If it's the one you're talking about, then yes. Or the one I'm thinking that you're talking about, then yes.
About how Harry Potter, why he named his... Okay. And it was funny because...
Yeah, shut up. It's stupid.
Barack Obama tweeted how she's lost her mind or something. And Trump tweeted, I actually agree with Barack Obama for the first time in my life.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was hilarious.
Pretty sure that was fake, wasn't it?
I don't know. But it was funny as heck.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was laughing my butt off. It was funny.
I'm sure you...
Anyways, so...
LM. Laughing your butt off.
Way off
LMBO?
topic. Yes.
Yes.
Way off topic. But... Ron, why is here? Yes. You're good. That's a good one, Jessica. You got it. You got it.
Yay.
Good job. Points for you.
The points don't matter.
It's true. This is a show, really, honestly. But we have.
Right now.
They're not. We had fun though, so that's all that matters. The only ones who are still watching this are the super duper fans of our show.
Oh, great.
Of our show. Hi, 2 of you.
Hello.
Why is Ron here?
Because he's got his own academy. Okay.
Why is Ron on the top 2?
Because he decided to flip on his alliance to vote for Kelly and now form kind of a new alliance for himself. But he also put a target on his back with Julie also. She's not going to trust him again. She's very paranoid with trusting anybody, which you're going to be on this show. You're not there to trust people because everybody wants to win $1 million. Who doesn't?
Sure. So,
he made some good moves. He's making good moves. And he's kind of putting himself back in control of the game slightly. Under everybody. Under War Dog, at least.
Yeah, I wonder if, who's going to get the credit. If him, War Dog, gets the end, I think War Dog will get the credit.
Well, War Dog will, because he went and approached people in, 30-second conversations with Kelly tonight. I liked that edit with it. He's like, I had to be quick. He's like, you just said it. Tonight, we're voting out Kelly. Okay. And that's all it took for him.
And he gathered the people on the bottom. That's a smart thing to do. Ron is kind of, I think Ron's one of those people. He's the Adam Klein of the season. He's the guy who rides with David to the end, and then if he can cut David at the end, he's the only one with the shot to win.
Just right in the back.
Right, and I think that's kind of where Ron is right now. I think Ron can go to the end And if he can get rid of War Dog right before the end, Ron's got the best shot to win.
Yeah.
He did everything War Dog did. War Dog's a little bit more out front, but if you can knock him out,
Yeah,
you got it.
for sure.
So we'll see, but I think Ron, I think he's got a good shot. I think he's he's definitely in it. We'll see if Julie works with him going forward. I don't know.
Doubt it. Don't see that happening.
But then again, who else is she going for? She's not going to really want to work with Aurora either.
Or she may change her mind and get so angry that she will. You never know.
You never know.
People make some strange decisions.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, it's been Ron's in a good spot, but he needs to make 1 or 2 more moves, and we'll see. We'll see how it turns out for him. Play of the week. This one we know it's been coming for a while.
Shocker.
No shocker here.
War Dog.
War Dog. Yep.
Yeah. This isn't the first time we had him as number 1.
No, we had a number 1, 2 for a while,
well,
but
yeah, it's true.
You
can't win a challenge. I'm sorry.
definitely can't. I think the reason I like this here though is there's the pendulum strategy, right? Where you jump from alliance to alliance to alliance to alliance back and forth.
And he's making it work out.
It is, and it was originally done on season 6. And obviously he's seen him and Ron have both seen a lot of the show. They both know that that's the thing that happens. It was overtly talked about on season 33 by Will Wall, who was like, "Hey, Hannah, you and I are going to do the pendulum strategy. We're going to jump back and forth between alliances." It worked 1 vote, and then they voted him out. So in this case, I like the idea of hey, we're on the bottom. Let's scoop at the bottom people and make a move. And then you scoop at the more people on the bottom and make another move.
Right.
And you always get the people on the bottom to do that. Where the season gets crazy is that the people on the bottom realize, let's do something. We gotta make a move, and then they turn out. They take flip out on the top. Dom and Wendell on their season, right? They were the 2 top dogs. They got down to the final 6. Why were they not voted out? Back to back.
Because people
and they had idols and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
but
they did. But if you don't know it's coming, you're not going to play your idol. Just like happened to Kelly, she didn't play her idol because she didn't have the feeling she was going. But Laurel she couldn't have made a move and got rid of one of them. She was just too close to them and didn't want to do it. And you can't get close to people like that in this game and expect that you're going to win too when they're doing better than you.
For sure, it's a tough thing. So you gotta rely on them to get you through it, but then you have to be willing to cut them and that kind of thing. So it's.
I mean, War Dog also. How many times a season do people say, "Well, we got to vote out a returning player," and then they didn't? He's finally at the point where, okay, we can't let him get any farther because they're gonna win. Something's gonna happen. Like Kelly's his alliance, but he knew better. He wasn't gonna win against her if he got to the end.
Absolutely.
I mean, he could have, but there was more of a risk to leave her there. You had to get rid of her.
Absolutely. You got to take out the X factor for sure. And I think that's a big thing to talk about to wrap up here is that War Dog is running the show. I mean, he's in control. He's overtly in control though. So the question is, he's a target. Can you hit the target? And if you do hit the target, then somebody else is going to win. If not, everybody else is running the show.
Their time is limited to get rid of him right now.
Absolutely.
They got to make a decision
for sure, and that's my point. So I think it's a good place to kind of wrap up with. Right now, he's doing work, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see where the show leads and how it all wraps up here. And next couple weeks, we only got a couple weeks left, so we'll be interested to see what the conclusion is as we end our 38th season. Believe it or not, 19 years, crazy. Anything else you want to add? So next week we'll have definitely have a guest on next week. We'll definitely and I think maybe Jessica can maybe be on our Amazing Race show next week. We'll see. We'll figure some stuff out. We got a lot of stuff to shuffle around a little bit, but we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a fun end stretch. We have some fun finale. It's gonna be an awesome finale. A fun penultimate episode, and we got a lot to look forward to the next month. So definitely hope you're along for the ride with us. Do so by subscribing, comment away, tell us what you think, tell us which one of us is right. It's gonna be her. And tweet me, YoGrabAGabba, email paperproductions@gmail.com, and facebook.com/paperproductions. What's your Twitter handle?
Just T820.
And mine's at YoGrabAGabba. Other than that, I think that's it. I think it's a good place to wrap up, and we'll see you back next week. It's a lot of fun still to be had. I know one thing. I've got nothing else for you because the tribe has spoken.